very warm, cheerful greetings to my dear students. Take out your NCERT book of class 6 English, that is Honeysuckle, so that we can begin with the new chapter of our literature, that is Fair Play, which is written by Prem Chand. Here in this chapter, what we are going to study about a story about the justice and the relationship between two friends. So let's begin with it. The characters in this chapter are Juman Sheikh, Algu Chaudhary, and Juman's wife, villagers, and Samju Sahu. So these are the characters which we're going to talk about. Before starting off with the chapter, I would like to introduce the difficult words in our dictionary. So let's know the meaning of those difficult words of our dictionary. Here we are having the words and their part of speech. Then we are having the meaning, then the sentences. Abide by, it's not a word, it's a phrase which means to accept without objection. They have got to abide by the rules. Became indifferent. If you accuse someone of being indifferent to something, unconcerned, distant, detached, means people have become indifferent to the sufferings of others. His manner was cold and become indifferent. Deviate, it's a verb, means to change or become different from what is normal or expected. He never once deviated from his original plan. Grudged means verb, to be unhappy that somebody has something or that you have to do something. I don't grudge him his success, he deserves it. Miss Nightingale grudged neither time nor money to this work. She had the satisfaction of placing it. Nominate, it is also a verb, means nominate somebody or something to formally suggest that somebody or something should be given a job, role, prize, etc. I would like to nominate Ram Prakash as chairman. We expect the party to nominate him for president. Seldom, it's an adverb, means not often, rarely. There was seldom snow in Athens. His English was apparently good, but he seldom used it. Swallowed, it is a verb, means to make food, drink, etc. go down your throat to your stomach. First, it is easier to swallow pills if you take them with water. Second, the pills should be swallowed whole. Tight spot, it's an informal verb, means in a bad position. The city is in tight corner financially. I'm in a tight spot because my babysitter just canceled at the last minute. I hope that the meanings of these difficult words is clear to you all. So let's begin with the introductory part of our lesson. The lesson deals with human relationship. Juman's aunt transfers her property to him on the condition that he will look after her. He ill-treats her and she seeks justice in the village panchayat. Now let's talk about the story. Students, this story is divided into 3 parts. The first part tells us that Juman Sheikh and Algu Chaudhary were good friends. Both were also greatly respected in the village. Juman had an old aunt who had some property. She transferred it to Juman. The condition was that she would stay with Juman. Juman would look after her well. For 2 years, the arrangement worked well. Then the situation changed. The behavior of Juman and his family changed. Even the little food which was offered to her was loaded with insults. At last, her patience gave up. Then, what happened when that poor lady's patience gave up? She realized that she was not welcome in his house. She asked Juman to give her a monthly allowance to set up a separate kitchen. Juman said that his wife knew best how to run the house. She decided to take the case to the village panchayat. The old lady went to the villagers explaining her case. Some showed sympathy, some laughed at her, others advised her to make it with Juman and his wife. At last, she went to Algu Chaudhary. Who was Algu Chaudhary? The best friend of Juman. He told that the lady that he could not go against Juman as he was his best friend. At this, she asked him, "But is it right, my son, to keep mum and not to say what you consider just as fair?" Then the part 2 begins. In the part 2, the panchayat was held under an old banyan tree. Juman said, "Let my aunt nominate the panch. I will abide by her decision." The old lady suggested the name of Algu Chaudhary, knowing well that he was a close friend of Juman. This, however, gladdened Juman's heart. He thought that as his best friend Algu could not go against him, his happiness was only short-lived. Algu Chaudhary gave his decision in favor of the old lady. She said that God lives in the heart of the Panch. She meant that as Panch, one was bound to be just and fair. But Juman was very angry. The incident broke the bond of friendship. The two were not seen together after the case. Juman wanted revenge on Algu. Then here the part 3 begins. Algu finds himself in a tight position after a few days. He had sold his bullock to Samju Sahu. Samju Sahu had agreed to pay the price after a month. Unfortunately, the bullock died before the date of payment. Sahu refused to pay. A case came before the panchayat once again. This time, Sahu proposed the name of Juman as Panch. Algu's heart sank. He was sure that Juman would give his verdict against him, but he accepted the proposal. Though Juman was burning with the desires for revenge, he could not do so sitting in the seat of the judge. He gave the judgment in favor of Algu. Algu was overjoyed. He cried that it was a victory of panchayat and justice. He said that God lives in the heart of Panch. Then the two friends embraced each other and wept. The tear had washed away the dirt of misunderstanding between them. So, children, the moral says us that we should not be impartial and non-judgmental in all situations of life. We should respect our elders. Plus, in this story, the story is about the two friends who had a fair sense of justice. The enmity between these two friends has developed a misunderstanding. Their friendship was at stake, but the other friend helps them to realize their fault. So the moral is that when you are a judge, you have no relations. Like, for example, when you are monitoring, you should not see who is your friend or who is your enemy. You should write all the names of the students who are talking. So friend, now you know that the moral of the story is justice should be always equal. I hope that the story and the moral is clear to you all. We are having this one assignment for you. How did Algu and Juman treat each other? How did Juman treat his old aunt? What were the common characteristics between Algu and Juman? How did the old aunt get justice? What decisions were given by Algu and Juman as head punch? How did Juman and Algu get over their bitterness and become friends again? I hope that this assignment is clear to you all. Thank you everyone for watching this video. I hope that the story is clear.